This segment of CoastLife is sponsored by the Spice and Tea Exchange of Rehoboth.
Well, on a blustery day like today, nothing might be a little more comforting than a nice hot cup of tea. And this one, especially for a day like today, from the Spice and Tea Exchange on Rehoboth Avenue in Rehoboth Beach, will just set you right. So Charlie, what are we drinking?
Here's what we've got. It is the Roots Revival Herbal Tea. Celebrate the salaciously powerful synergy of roots with this robust and radiant herbal blend, glowing with botanicals known for vitality and wellness, supporting things like anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, and digestive health. So a lot of benefits there.
Yeah, I mean, I know when I crack that open, I always take a whiff of the tea before we drink it because I like to know what you're up against.
Stage,
yes,
yeah.
And you can really smell the ginger coming through. So if you're a ginger fan, this is going to be a great tea for you. Well, Charlie, why don't you get to spill in, and then I'll get to spill in our more metaphorical tea, if you will. So this is some more coworker drama. Is she wrong for confronting her coworker who lied to her? After learning that a teammate had been misleading her at work, taking credit for her efforts, and not just like little baby efforts here. This was many, many efforts that the credit was taken. She confronted her coworker directly. So what happened was these two were working on a project together. The writer thinking, oh, we're working together, yay, collaboration. The coworker then taking everything they knew, presented a project and omitted the writer's contribution from this presentation. The writer was hurt deeply, confronted this coworker angrily, and other people kind of started to notice. And the person who presented the project apologized, said they felt bad for, taking all the credit, didn't realize it was that big of a deal, I guess. Hard to believe, but that's their story and they're sticking to it. And our writer says, now I'm kind of conflicted because I may have taken it a little too far. I mean, this person was angry, told the coworker, she thought he wasn't competent, thought he couldn't do his job, may have crossed a line or two when it came to this confrontation. So we want to know, did she take this a little too far?
Yes. But first of all, the coworker that wasn't given credit is also a jerk. Let's be very clear about this. That's like one of those moves where you're trying to get all the credit so you can get ahead, kick everybody that's alongside you. That's unacceptable. Yeah. But the ferocity of the pushback was a little scorched earth. Like, she was in the right to confront this person. Yeah. She probably wasn't in the right to, in front of a bunch of people, call him no talent and say that he couldn't have ever done this without her and to be cursing. And there are limits to where and how you should be handling this stuff. I get it. I'd be upset too if somebody tried to cut me out of something that I was a major part of putting forward. Like, I get it, but that does seem like maybe a step too far. I think of the two of them, she's the least in the wrong, but she was in the wrong. Yeah,
I think I'm with you on that. I think confronting this coworker in itself is a good and necessary step because you don't want something like that to boil over or happen again. And especially if the receiving end of that conversation was, I'm so sorry, it's like, ooh, dial it back. But I feel like this is the exact reason why earlier in the show we were talking about a mind-reading chip. Like this is why we don't want those. So you can keep those internal thoughts internal. And I understand the temptation too to really just go off on somebody, but never in front of an audience. I think it's even within your right to kind of put somebody in their place privately. Yeah. Just not with people around who can see you or hear you.
The way it was handled was a little bit much. Again, nothing wrong with confronting this person. That person was in the wrong. They shouldn't have been trying to take all the credit. And stand up for yourself boldly, but to just be cursing and telling them they have no talent and that's a little far.
It also usually isn't well received. I feel like sometimes if you're just insulting somebody, they might do it again just to spite you because you were mean to them or cruel to them in the first place. But
and there's an old phrase, people from a distance can't tell who is who when fools are arguing.
True. That's a good one. Good. That applies to a lot of our Spill the Teas here. So I think, I don't think she was wrong to confront this person, but I do think maybe she took it too far and it might be time to apologize yourself a little bit. Your coworker apologized for stealing all the credit. Now maybe you apologize for being a little too mean.
There's some culpability there.
Yeah, I think so. But one thing we can all always agree on, that the tea from the Spice and Tea Exchange is delicious. Let's take a sip here. I love ginger.
I like this. That's
Me too.
that's delightful. I really do. It's a nice taste. I think that can go, especially on a day like today.
Oh, yeah.
The hot tea really kicks in.
And I know a lot of people's allergies have been driving them crazy. This might kind of help soothe some of that too. So get yourself some tea at the Spice and Tea Exchange on Rehoboth Avenue in Rehoboth Beach. Maybe sometime this weekend, pop in, tell them CoastLife sent you. We do have to take a quick break, but when we get back, we've been mentioning the weather. We're going to be talking with one of our meteorologists about what you can expect, going into the rest of the day ahead.